An earthquake rattled parts of the island just before 3 a.m. this morning. Tremors have so far been reported in Kingston, St Andrew, St Anne, St Mary, Portland, Clarendon and St Catherine. The United States Geological Survey initially reported that the magnitude 4.0 quake was recorded 8 kilometers north-northwest of Buff Bay, Portland. What is an earthquake? An earthquake is the shaking of the surface of the earth, which results from a sudden release of energy in the earth's lithosphere that creates seismic waves. We felt a minor earthquake in sections of Kingston and St Andrew in the afternoon of May 14, 2020. That is basically 1 month before we felt this recent earthquake on June 14th. At that time, the University of the West Indies Earthquake Unit reported that the 3.1 magnitude earthquake was felt around 4:03 p.m. The unit had said that the epicenter was located in the Blue Mountains, approximately 8 kilometers northeast of Agley Gap in St. Thomas. Warnings have been issued previously by the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management (ODPEM) in regards to Jamaica being overdue for serious earthquakes. They stated that the country has not had any major tremors in over 100 years. 100 years is the limit for the return period for earthquakes. Whilst the island experiences about 200 earthquakes both on and offshore annually, we are still overdue for an earthquake. The last major earthquake that we experienced in Jamaica was in 1907. Although there have been earthquakes in 1957 and 1993, these could be considered to be moderate earthquakes. However, in terms of the damage that we have experienced in the last couple of years, the 1907 earthquake was the strongest we have experienced in recent years. It has been more than 103 years since we've experienced the 1907 earthquake, and scientists have stated that earthquakes normally return between 80 and 100 years. That places us right within the period between which we can safely say Jamaica is overdue for an earthquake. Schools continue to observe Earthquake Awareness Days in January, and also the ODPEM hosts Open Day awareness sessions in those weeks as well. It has been impressed upon students to continue to observe and attend annual open days for earthquake awareness, because the importance of preparing can never be understated, because Jamaica is in a well and a long overdue status for an earthquake. Whilst the ODPEM is not saying that either today, tomorrow or the next day we will have an earthquake, they are basically saying that Jamaica and its people need to be prepared, because the reality is that they are currently within a close proximity of the active North American plate and the active Caribbean plate, and that has major implications for Jamaica as a region and as a country. Jamaica has many fault lines which extend across all 14 parishes, and this means that an earthquake can originate from anywhere at any particular point during the day or the night. The Great Kingston earthquake of 1907 caused more than 1,000 deaths, damaged numerous buildings, and started several fires. Before that, the most damaging earthquake to have affected Jamaica occurred in 1692, and this was responsible for over 5,000 deaths from the earthquake itself and a subsequent outbreak of yellow fever. A section of Port Royal now sits at the bottom of the sea as a result of that earthquake in 1692. Many persons dread the idea of what would happen if an earthquake the magnitude of the 1907 earthquake were to one day happen in Jamaica. Many persons are also concerned about Kingston's dense population, the age and type of its buildings, and the number of persons who occupy small spaces, as this is evident in New Kingston and in inner city areas. It has also been stated that Portmore is an area of concern, as Portmore remains a prime target for tsunamis because majority of the land on which it sits was reclaimed from swamps and to some extent the sea. It has been stated that as a nation, we cannot afford to lull ourselves into complacency, and that it is one of the reasons for focusing on earthquake awareness during Earthquake Awareness Week. Over the years, the aim is to build a culture of preparedness, and the best way to start is to encourage and mold the minds of our young people to focus on earthquake preparedness. What can be done to ensure that the country's readiness for an earthquake is in place? The ODPEM has stated that many systems are in place to minimize the potential fatalities which would arise from such a disaster. There is a message handling system, an earthquake plan, a Ministry of Health plan, a fire plan, and there are partner agencies who are willing to help us through an earthquake. There is a working Portmore evacuation plan, and whilst they are conscious of the fact that Portmore has traffic congestion problems, there is also a traffic management plan which incorporates the services of the JUTC. This plan would help to get out a number of persons within the shortest possible time to avoid the buildup from using individual vehicles. Included in normal preparedness efforts, there should be an emphasis on nutrition, since food would be inaccessible if buildings collapse. As stated before, Jamaica seems to be long overdue for a serious earthquake, and we've had at least 3 to 4 earthquakes this year. We had one in January, we had one in May, and we had one recently in June. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.